Dumelang, Dumelang, Dumelang. Let's add this. Hi, Chai, 20 something. How's it, Nesh? Hola.
How's it, brother?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm good. How's the night?
You look much better. Much better. Much better, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
see Tevin just joined. Tevin's actually a high school friend of mine. We went to high school together.
Oh,
How's it, bro? Hope you're good, man. It's been a while. It's been years, actually, since I spoke to you. Um, okay, otherwise.
no, I got no complaints, man. Got no complaints. Yeah.
How was the day?
Hey, busy, a bit busy. But yeah, we got a few things done, but otherwise, no complaints. And yourself?
Oh, that's good. My day wasn't too bad. Today was on the chilled side because we have a focused day today.
Yeah,
So not too many meetings are booked, and you just have time to really just focus on your tasks for the day.
yeah.
So, and actually, funny enough, finally I was able to start pushing the remember the confidence project.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's just been dragging, but I think I'll finish tomorrow. I wanted to finish today, but I couldn't, but it's all right. It's all right.
Oh, okay. Now at least if
Yeah.
you're done, though.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hi, Caro. So yeah, man, I think, you know what, let's begin.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the other people will join us on the way.
Okay, cool.
Um, so welcome everyone. Today we doing season 2 of technology. And previously on our first episode, we discussed the timeline of technology, where we looked at how technology used to be in the past, and then we looked at how technology is today, and then we looked at the possibilities on how technology will be going forward. So today we're going to be discussing the disruption of technology, and we will be touching on how technology is affecting us today in a good way and a bad way, but also we'll be looking at how technology is affecting our jobs today, and also we'll be discussing on how we can move forward, or what you can do as an individual to just try and minimize the impact of technology. And with that said, tonight I have Tisetso Manne joining us. Thank you, Tisetso, for coming through.
Nah, thanks for having me, man. It's always a privilege to be here or to be on your live. Looking forward tonight. And like I always say, hopefully we can learn something from each other, and hopefully someone on the line also learns something from us as well today. So looking forward to
No,
tonight.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's kick off. I wanted us to look at how has technology affected your job from a positive perspective.
Yeah, I think it goes without saying that technology plays a huge part in my career. And definitely I've been fortunate enough to be in the IT industry where I've been able to see how technology affects some of these companies, you know what I'm saying? And particularly how the digital disruption affects the companies and how they are forced to pivot strategy and change the way in which they operate going forward because of the changes that are taking place. So
Hmm.
definitely on that level, looking at last time how we spoke about, how people need to also pivot their own strategy. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that
Yes.
they align themselves to what's happening to the current economy and everything. So yeah, definitely. And on a personal level as well, just we take some of the things that we take for granted, like using just talking over, communicating over video chat. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we take for granted, but it does affect you and it does influence how you communicate with the world. and things like the internet as well. It's available to us, and the exponential nature of these technologies.
No.
These technologies will
Okay,
continue.
there we go.
These technologies will continue to be around and change how we look at the world. So definitely on that level.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing that I want us to touch on is how technology has helped us to advance. So in a sense that we are now able to be a bit more productive,
Yeah.
and when you look at productivity, I mean, there's a level of demand that's in the picture where you need to meet a certain level of demand, and technology has aided that ability to now increase our level of productivity,
Yes.
because you find that customers over a period of time start having more requirements, or even shorter time spans on when they expect some sort of feedback or production of a product.
Yes.
And technology now has come into that picture where it has aided that ability for us to do a certain amount of work in a short amount in a short period of time.
Definitely. We also speak of things like agile, where you're able to just move into production much quicker. You know what I'm saying? Being able to
Yes.
provide that service at a quicker rate. So we look at things like the CI/CD pipeline, where people are able to use that pipeline to make sure that productivity moves quickly and is available for people to consume at a much quicker rate. So definitely there, I agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, we've moved from things taking hours to minutes, and as you just mentioned, I mean, you're able to now have yourself actually providing your service to your customers within minutes and not hours anymore.
Yeah.
Or when your systems go down, you're able to go back up in a very short period of time. And I feel like that's something that touches on how you make your customers happy, because then with that, customers will come back to you and say, okay, you're taking too long to maybe provide this product, and we now require it to be done a bit quicker. And then what happens is that there's people in the market that sit back and look like, okay, there is space for an opportunity, and now they go back and now work on this possible technology, and say, okay, customers are complaining that this and this takes too long. Now let's go back and create this to now try aid the market in different ways, in terms of maybe producing certain products a bit quicker. So I think when you look at it like that, technology honestly has provided a level of benefit towards different things. And I mean, we can also look at payments. I mean, when you think about it, about 5 to 6 years ago, I mean, instant payments were not a thing, if you could say. And now we're able to make payments instantly, where you have an option on your banking app to select instant payment, where it'll reflect immediately to whoever or whichever bank you transfer money to.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And just touching on banking specifically, we look at how by the year 2025, about 2 billion people will be using banking for the first time, and about 80% of those people will be using their banking apps just to make the transactions. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So with
Mm.
that being said as well, how technology affects some of these industries and just makes changes to these industries. You know what I'm saying? Look at how these industries, you might not need to go into the bank anymore, but just work from home. So make your transaction from home, open an account from home. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, securities, that's for the banks to figure out, but definitely it's something that's going to happen either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to also bring in people here in our on our live. I mean, guys, if you have any questions, or you get triggered and you want to ask something or give some sort of input, please feel free to communicate with us. And I think for me, the biggest thing that I've seen with technology during this time of COVID-19 is that we are able to work from home,
Yeah.
and we are able to be of value to our companies. We're able to be of value to our customers, and we are able to make customers feel that, as much as a certain part of our country or the world is going down, but whatever I am linked to, whether it's I don't know, your bond or whatever support you may need, you still get that feeling.
Yes, no, definitely. Speaking of working from home, there are a lot of things that you can do right now from home by the enablement of technology. Um, I think of how the education system is affected by one of these changes that are taking place, particularly because of
Yeah.
the it's more increased and more enhanced. But you see how people are now working from home and using technology to learn and study using these free
Yes.
materials offered. So now we just go and just get certified. Maybe that's when you have to pay for that specific course, but you just get free material that is offered to you, and you're able to go and upskill yourself. So it's quite interesting what technology enables us to do at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, having this ability of working from home and technology aiding us, um, when you look at teams, I mean, we're able to collaborate, and that is also another big thing that technology has aided with for collaboration and being able to from your own comfort of your own home provide some sort of value, or also brainstorm even with your teammates, because I mean we still go through different projects and different tasks that we need to do.
Yeah, not true. We look at things like your Zoom meetings, your teams and everything, where it allows you just to collaborate, like you said, collaborate with everybody within your team. And some of these technologies that are coming into place now, it's crazy how things are changing and affecting our workplaces as well.
Yeah. So
Right?
we have a question here.
Yeah.
Um, so it says, do you guys think with the change in working patterns, there are more pros or cons? Um, for me, honestly, and because like Gerardo Namuntu and all those things, I think it has more pros because you now do not need to travel to work to provide value or to meet your tasks. You know, you can still work from home. And for me personally, I feel like there's more pros to it because you have more time in your hands now to do other things.
Yeah.
If you have a side hustle, now you can have more time in your hands to work on that side hustle. You
Yeah.
have more time to even rest and have more energy to do other things, spend time with the kids and all those different things. I don't know what you think. Is it?
Yeah, I think the only con that I can think of is meetings, man. People complain about so many meetings on your video chat platforms where it could have been a conversation that you have in the corridors with somebody, and it's just a 5 minute conversation. Now it becomes a whole meeting for minutes that has been planned, and it takes only 5 minutes
Yeah.
for a particular meeting. So I think that's the only con that I can think of. But like you said, there are pros to working from home. The comfort of your own home, it's you're used to being at home, so
Yeah.
so if you're used to being at home, you are more productive, I guess, to some extent. But I guess it goes
Yeah.
from person to person to say what do you prefer, So
Mm.
yeah, there are pros and there are cons. So it's just a balancing act between the
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, when you look at how technology has changed things, is that, I was reading up the other day that technology is pushing us into a direction of something called a gig economy,
two.
you know, and a gig economy is filled with freelancers. Basically, it
Yeah,
promotes an economy that is filled of freelancers,
yeah,
where now you are able to work multiple jobs at the same time. So, for example, at night, you you're an Uber driver, and then during the day, maybe you're a UX designer for a specific company, you know. So already you're able to pick up many jobs at the same time and
yeah.
still be productive and still meet, ends meet.
Yeah, no, true. I think, like we said, technology is an enabler. It enables many things to happen, and it comes about with a lot of changes, like we said. So,
Mm.
in terms of working flexible times and flexible hours, it can be beneficial for a person to do that. So, I think definitely something that going into the future, people can look into as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And to couple, this gig economy that we're talking about is how employers now are moving to the direction where they do not want to invest in you to come sit there for 3 years, to give you a 3 year contract to sit there for 3 years for a job that you could probably do in 3 months.
Yeah.
And you can maybe, if they need you, they can call you back, I don't know, at a later stage,
Yeah.
where you'd find that in that 3 years, they could probably spend almost 100,000 or to 150,000 on you per year,
Yeah.
when they would rather pay you 50,000 for those 3 months to do that specific job.
Exactly. No, it's true. It's interesting, like you said, that how the jobs are changing, and what jobs will be there and what jobs will not be there in the future. So I mean, we look now, a well-known company like Amazon is hiring people to work from home. You know, so they're paying them to work from home. So obviously there is that budget constraint that they're thinking of to say, okay,
Mm.
how do you manage our budget based on things going into the future. So obviously it's something that they can take advantage of as well. So companies are definitely looking into that kind of thing.
No, definitely. I agree. I agree. Let me just, yeah. So now let's move on to which jobs will not exist after this shift and change, going forward. The jobs that are going to be affected and unfortunately dissolve.
Yeah. I think the first one that comes to mind is one of the cashier, you know, how you go into a store and you pick up what you pick up, you go to the till and you no longer find a person there, but it's just maybe an automated machine that you have to just pick and swipe your own products there and maybe pay
Mm.
somehow. It just makes, maybe like a ticketing system, you know what I'm saying? So maybe like if you have I'm just saying hypothetically, if you go to a mall and you pay for your ticket for how long you spend there, now you
Yeah,
the change and everything like that. So, with the technologies that are taking place, you just have a machine that is there that enables you to pay for your products going forward. So, people might lose their jobs in the cashier industry.
yeah,
Another one that I can think of is how an e-toll person will no longer have their job because of the
mm.
e-toll, sorry, but the tolling gate people will no longer have a job because of e-tolls that are coming into play. So we might not have those gantries anymore, but now we have those just e-tolls where you just go past with your car and it just takes up the amount that it needs to take up, and you just have to pay at the end of the month. So, very
Yeah,
interesting times that we're living in.
yeah. No, no, definitely. And I think if and I mean we're still gonna mention quite a few, but to everyone in the live, I mean, if you guys if we don't mention any jobs that you guys are currently doing and you're wondering if ever it's going to be affected, please ask us, and we'll try to answer to the best of our abilities. And one for me that I think of is travel agents,
Yeah,
because travel agents, their typical job is to find a destination for you, compare prices, and find the best or the cheapest hotel, maybe the cheapest excursion or something like that. And right now you have apps or website that allow you to compare, maybe five hotels that you've picked, and then out of that it'll choose the cheapest hotel, and also it will choose maybe the quickest access to wherever you require. And also I mean, when you look at your Airbnb, also how advanced they are, I mean, that already eradicates the those people's jobs, specifically for travel agents.
yeah. No, true. A lot of jobs will be lost. Another one that I think of is the factory worker. How a factory worker might lose their job to a robot that comes into play as well, where in the factory, maybe you're assembling a car and all these
Mm.
machines are working together to assemble that thing more effectively and more efficiently. So I definitely think, going forward, we're going to lose a lot of jobs, but I'm still optimistic going forward, yeah.
Yeah, and just to go back a bit to when you mentioned cashiers, I mean, I remember I think it was about a year ago, Pick and Pay, o ka re ba etse di-testanyana tsa gore, which I mean, not which, gore, does this, you know, teller automated thing work? And I mean, that's just a reality, gore, it's actually being tested. So I think it was very interesting to see that. And for me, what comes to mind is fast food cooks.
Yeah,
So batho ba ba bapayang at a fast food restaurant. I mean, you can program a robot to say, okay, after 8 seconds, flip the patty and flip it over, and then wait another 8 seconds and flip it again, and then pick it up, put it on a bun, and then squeeze mayo, and then put lettuce and put the other bun and serve.
yeah.
I mean, those are procedures that you can build into a robot. And I mean, for me, I see it happening very soon, quicker than we think even.
Yeah, no, true. It's gonna happen. But I'm still very optimistic going forward because I think jobs will be lost, but people will still need to program these robots. They'll still need to go in and type the code that will say, okay, when this happens, do this. We still have things like
Mm,
AI and machine learning, but we still need human intervention to some extent to say, do this when this happens. So yes, definitely
yes.
will be lost, but I'm still optimistic about the creation of jobs going forward. Yeah.
So do you think, as you're saying, we're still going to need people to program these robots? Do you think then it will promote more developer jobs being available and increasing the demands in people who are able to do development or automation per se?
Yeah, I think definitely. Looking into the future, I think people who are able to or use machine learning, who are able to do artificial intelligence, they have a very niche space that is available to them, and jobs will be really available to them. People who do robotics as well, people who are able
Mm.
to create robots. So definitely, there's jobs for them going forward into the future. Yeah.
I think an interesting thing also would be if we could get someone in a robotic space or someone in a artificial intelligence space, or I mean space, or and machine learning, just to also try and demystify these terms and what they do and what they are and actually how they work. I think it would provide a lot of value to bring someone that works with those specific areas, and have a conversation with them just to explain those things for us.
Yeah, no, uh, that's definitely something we can do.
I mean, even waiters. I mean, when we look at waiters, for example, I know I think it's the UK, they already have restaurants that are operating with just machine waiters, where I mean, those small robots are programmed so that when, for example, it's like a miniature robot. It's like about this big. You just put your food on top of it, and then it knows which table to go to, and it knows actually even which side that plate, or yeah, which side of the table that plate is supposed to go to. And
Mm.
I mean, already that's interesting for me.
Yeah, no, true. Jobs are just gonna be automated. Jobs are gonna be, available for people who are always ahead of the curve. Who will be, working towards, just upgrading themselves. So I think definitely, man. Yeah, that's very interesting. Really.
Yeah, I mean, even IT support, people on the other end when you log a call and stuff like that, they are also going to be very challenged, because I mean, right now we already have your chatbots where like what's a website, and then already at the bottom of your screen, something pops up and says, I don't know, I'm John. How can I help you? And you can just already interact with that virtual robot already, and it can help you.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, how robotics, like you said, and on bots are coming into play. It's quite interesting. You think of how even in the industry, how bots are taking the place of some things like onboarding people onto applications and all those things. So yeah, definitely bots are something to think for as for the future as well.
Yeah, and also, when you look at receptionists, they are also, because I mean, now when you call a maybe, I don't know, telecom, for example, there isn't anyone that actually, someone that takes the phone and answers. You go through stages that is automated by a pre-recorded system, and then only then you get to an option where it says, okay, would you like to speak to a consultant? So I think also that concept when it comes to receptionists, we're gonna get to a point where, I'm sure you know Pepper, that robot.
Pepper, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time where they're going to have Pepper when you walk into an organization, and then the first thing you're going to have is going to be that robot there, and it's going to have that tablet on its chest, and then it's going to have options on where do you want to go or who are you here to see, and then you click, sends that person a message wherever they're sitting in the organization. They get an email, and so already the receptionist is also going to feel the pinch. I think also with, and I've seen this already with newspapers, people who sell newspapers, because I remember when I used to work in Midrand, I would tell so in a basic newspaper.
Yeah.
So, I mean, every morning I'd just be there now and I'd see him and I'm thinking to myself, he has a stack of the newspaper and he puts it like, hey, does he fell or started selling newspaper to a guy?
Yeah.
And does he even sell all of them? Because as we know, I mean, newspaper or newspaper printers, they've moved to a digital platform.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, thinking of that as well. Are you still available? Okay. No, I'm just thinking about how we might even go paperless as a society. I was even thinking about the post office and getting post from the post office. It can be based by email altogether. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've been in the COVID-19 saga for a while now, and you're not even getting your post, but you can still get informed using your cell phone. You can get informed using your email. So, one of the days where you would wait for a statement to come through over the post or something like that. So, very crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy times.
And I think, one that we can all relate to, especially the guys, is that, referees, it's only a matter of time where they're going to feel the pinch because we already have VAR right now. And VAR, I mean, it's something that as soon as that system or machine becomes advanced, it's only going to be a matter of time where they're not going to have a need for referees, because yes, you still have the same number of referees on the field. You even have more up in the stands where they look at the footage when they need to look at an incident. But I mean, as soon as that machine starts learning and grows and knows all these things, soon enough you'll probably only have just one referee on the pitch.
Yeah, true, man. And the accuracy of these decisions that will be made will be quite impressive, because imagine now you in the final and it's a penalty. It's a decision between a penalty or not a penalty, or a red card or not a red card. So definitely these machines will help in terms of refereeing. I know all the heads might say it ruins the game, and we still want to have that emotion, and we still want to have that debate at the pub and say, was it a red card? Was it not a red card? But I think efficiency definitely, it'll be fixed. It will definitely make sure that the decision is almost 99.9% of the time right.
Yeah, and maybe it might just delay Liverpool from winning the league. Who it might just, and the last two that I want us to look at is also, and I think people in this industry probably don't even see it coming or don't even think about it, is that pharmacists and nurses, they are also going to feel the pinch, because with the nurses, there's already actually ongoing robot nurses where because I mean, when you're in a hospital, about this is a dijo, they bring your medication, they come check on you and all those different things. So I mean, it's also a very small and easy thing to do where you can program a robot to bring food to a specific room to each person and also bring the medication and stuff like that, and also with pharmacists. I mean, I know now there really is like where you have your pharmacist, you give him your prescription, he checks it for you on the computer, and then instead of him walking back and going to check for the prescription, the robot actually goes and gets that prescription from the shelf. The robot knows where on the shelf on what row that medication is, and it picks it out and it brings it to the pharmacist, and then you get your prescription. So it's stuff like that that people in different job sectors need to also think about.
Yeah, not true. Specifically, like what you just mentioned, I think of the health sector and how that can be affected by things like your wearable devices. You're wearing maybe a smartwatch on your wrist, and it's able to tell you your blood pressure, your heart rate, things of that nature. And you might just be able to have, an overall understanding of your health rather than going to the doctor and going and doing a full checkup, which that only happens once, maybe once that you go there in a month or something like that. But when you
Yeah.
constantly have, access to your health and be able to check on your arm and just say, okay, this is what is happening with me right now. Am I
Mm.
healthy? Am I in a state where I need to go for full medical checkup? You still have that advisor that you have on your phone. So it's like
Yeah.
a doctor assistant in your pocket or on your wrist, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And I don't know if anyone in the comment section there has maybe any questions or wants to ask us something, you know, just so that people don't feel, left out or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, guys, feel free to bring through any questions for us to answer. So now I want us to talk about which jobs will still exist, but will just be maybe altered a bit or changed a bit, and also a bit how exactly they will be affected.
Yeah, I think, just thinking about your accountants, thinking about how those may be affected by things like your blockchain technology,
Mm,
the blockchain in technology might improve how the ledger is filled out. you know there's more transparency to the ledger, there's more accountability to the ledger on who did what, where, and why. So that's the first job that I can think of right now that says, okay, this is a job that in the future might be affected by technology and something that people might want to have a look into going forward into the future.
no, definitely, and I think one thing that we can also look at is how we'll be able to be more productive, but even more efficient, and also have better collaborative sessions. So I know it's starting to be a norm in other countries, because I mean they're a bit more ahead than us, but they are using augmented reality in a way where they are now presenting their work to a company in another country across the world,
Yeah.
and they don't need to be physically there with their demo. They can just do it virtually. So I think that's also another benefit that we're going to have, where you don't need to now always now travel to another country to show them your model or anything. You can always now just have that model done, virtually and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, true, man. But as we go forward as well, I think it's quite interesting what technology is doing, because some of the jobs that are available at this point in time, they, like I said it earlier, they might not be the same, so they will be changed. I think of a data scientist right now who is able to do analytics on certain things using BI tools and all those things, but we might have automation that does automated analytics on this data that's coming in. So now we
Mm.
just need a person to interpret the data rather than actually do the actual work. So we might have a data interpreter rather than a data scientist going forward into the future. So crazy how technology just going to affect the industry altogether.
No, definitely. And, I think one big thing we will also see is different types of systems and softwares coming into play into organizations. When we look, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, we now use Teams, right? And it's just so normal. And now you have things like Zoom coming. And so you're going to start having different types of software and probably even from I don't know, let's say a marketing or sales perspective, where now, doing things a traditional way won't be that way anymore. And it'll actually be of value if you could have knowledge of that system before even companies start adopting it, because then you'll be looked at as some sort, or to a certain extent, as a senior, because you have that knowledge that people don't have. So I think, it's stuff like that where your job might stay the same, but the only thing that will change is that maybe you guys are not doing things, at a slower process. So where maybe you have a Word document, you send it to someone, and someone does it. Now you'll probably just be doing something in just one software, and it's a collaborative platform where everyone goes onto that software and works on that.
Yeah, not true. Going forward, I think it's important that you stay ahead of the curve. Being able to understand what's going to happen in your own industry and staying ahead of the curve and being able to adapt. But we say that you adapt, but it's more important that you stay ahead of the curve, because then there are a few surprises when those things change and happen in your industry. So I think it's very important that you look into that.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned that actually brings us into the next point of what as a person, and you sitting there and you're like, okay, this is what's happening around me. I'm not really sure what I need to do or how to get around this challenge. I think I need to understand what is happening in my job area.
Yeah.
You need to just sit back and say, okay, this is what I do, and what is happening, or how is technology affecting what I do as a career, and what is going to change, and what can I do going forward?
Yeah.
So, and it goes back to what you're saying, that you need to stay ahead of the curve, where you need to know what is happening around you.
Yeah, no, true. Always, I think, research is always important. Being able to just go into things like your Gartner reports, where they talk about emerging technologies for different, industries, where you go and do your own research about your own industry and what might be coming up. I know companies also have bulletins that they push out just to inform, employees on what they might expect to happen in the next 5 years that is about to happen. So it's always important that you equip yourself and, just allow yourself to have that knowledge to say, okay, this is what's going to happen in the future. Let me align myself and be really ready for what's about to happen in the industry.
I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think that's also, something that people have maybe had a challenge with, is that, okay, where do I go? What do I do? And how do I find out on what I need to do or what's going to change,
Yeah.
I think a powerful thing is what you said, that, take the time to ask Google questions, because, for me, I think it took a while for me, and I understood this concept of, Google's your friend, and for me to actually understand, okay, how can I actually use it to benefit me? And you need to be able to ask Google like direct questions, say, in the accounting industry, how is technology affecting the accounting industry? And you'll be surprised at how many different information you get. And I would encourage everyone in the comment section to go ahead and take your career or whatever that you're doing that puts bread on the table, and say, how is it being affected by technology? Because what that does then, it gives you information so that you can stay ahead of the curve, so that you don't find yourself one day being retrenched or having to find yourself, at a position that you don't know how to get out of. And, staying ahead of the curve is also being ready for change, so that when change happens, you're already equipped for it.
Yeah.
So to find yourself in a position where if you go 5 years back to how, things are changing now, or how jobs are changing now, if you did the research 5 years ago, you would have upskilled and done the necessary upskilling courses or whatever to meet the change happening today,
Yeah.
to where we see EdCon retrenching them in 22,000 people, you know.
Yeah.
And we know that honestly, it was only a matter of time because as we've seen, there's automated machines that are coming in and replacing tellers and, shelf packers and everything like that. And research like that can put you ahead of the curve. And that's just, our simple explanation of how do you stay ahead of the curve. It's being knowledgeable of what's coming before it actually happens. Because people think, dilo di a change, why why are machines being put in? But this is something that's been happening over almost 10 years or being prepared over 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we live in a country, they are not good at preparation or spreading the knowledge to people who are working for, okay, this is where the country is moving to. This is what you need to do. And I think it's platforms like these that we need to, keep pushing. This is what you need to do. Stay ahead of the curve. Do the necessary research that you need to do, depending on your specific career, and take it from there. And you'll be most likely on the safe side.
Yeah, not true. I think also with that being mentioned, once you figure out what might happen in your industry, it doesn't hurt to be certified in a specific area as well. So, if you're able to get your courses online or go to a specific teaching area, teaching platform that allows you to have that course and study for what might happen in the future, it's always beneficial to you to have that certificate to say I'm equipped with this and I'm able to do ABC for the company. So definitely
Yes.
something to look into as well.
Yeah, and I was also reading up the other day on how or which jobs people could go into or what people can do to avoid feeling the pinch of losing a job or feeling or made feel that you're not of value. And the jobs that are going to survive going forward are those creative jobs, to be honest, because you can't really teach, or actually you can't at all even teach a machine to be creative.
Yeah.
That is something that we are born with that can't be programmed into a robot, for example.
Yeah, not true. Also, I think you can't teach a machine, not to be biased. It's something that's innate within a human being to say, let me not be biased, and this is, a decision that I make based on skin color or gender or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So going forward, yes, machines will be able to make those decisions. Are we going to be able to eradicate some of these biases from these machines? Only time will tell, But
Yeah.
that's for the people who are actually behind it to worry about.
Yeah, no, definitely. And even relationship-based jobs, it touches a bit on what you just said. Relationship-based jobs, it's like your psychologists,
Yeah.
where you go to the person and they sympathize or empathize with you and give you advice. I mean, that's also something that a robot can't do for you. So I think that's just to mention a few on some of the areas that probably will never feel the pinch of the disruption of technology.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did this. We've covered the important things tonight, and it was a good conversation. And just before we end off, I just want to emphasize the fact that, guys, if you have any questions, please do send in your questions. But also that after this, if you ever have a question, you can contact us anytime. But take the time to really think about it and never think that your job area is never going to be affected by technology, because it is. And when it happens, it's going to happen very quickly. And if you thought that change was quick, going forward it's going to be even quicker, because change accelerates every time it gets better. And so take the time to really research about your job area and how it's being affected by technology. And if the job that you're actually even doing, and I actually want to encourage people that are still studying that also try and make sure that what you're studying is not for a job that won't exist in the next 5 years. And that's also another blame you could say you could put on our system, that there's still qualifications out there that are still being let happen, but when that person goes into the job market, it's going to be like, that job doesn't exist anymore, or they won't even be able to find a job. And imagine spending 3 to 4 years of your life studying for something that will be relevant in the years to come.
Yeah, no, true. I think as we go forward, and as someone who's conscious in the technology, you're always wary of the digital divide that's happening within our country. Particularly, you think about someone who's in a village, like I said the last time, and they're unable to have access to the internet. They're unable to have access to quality education. They are unable to allow themselves to be equipped with the necessary knowledge to go forward. So I think that's important for our lawmakers as well, to say, how do we, bring people along into this change that is. We always hear this term, the digital divide. We always hear the digital disruption, digital transformation, but to really just think about the people who might be left behind as well.
Definitely, I agree. And to just end this off, that's also another reason why I wanted to do this, because we do our best to demystify these big terms, and just break it down so that anyone and everyone, whether you know technology or not, you understand what is happening around you and what is affecting your daily life. And as you're saying, the digital divide is very big. And content like this could go a long way for someone that is unaware of what is happening. And also what I try and do is that with this content, I try and also make it available to anyone and everyone, whether you have the means or not. So if ever you would like for me to share this with you, please just get in contact with me. Or if you have any questions, please also send us your questions and we'll answer them. So let me just try to see if maybe we have any questions here. But maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see any questions. Yeah. I guess, yeah. I mean, I think let's wrap it up. So, man, you know what? Thank you for coming through tonight and having this conversation with me. I think it was very productive. We'll meet up sometime soon. Hopefully, this lockdown will be over and we'll catch up.
No, definitely. Catch us maybe next time as well, guys. And thanks for tuning in.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.